Hello. It took 2 years, a lot of effort, energy, money and friendship to complete DW2012's feature film The Fall of the Doctor. I myself played a role, but I was also behind the scenes, taking photos, videos, and I even in the end made a documentary. My final video for 2018, I will be taking a look through some of those interviews and showing them to you as an extended cut, including some people who you wouldn't have seen before in the documentary. So sit back and enjoy DW2012, The Lost Interviews. Now, the first interview on our roster comes from the big man himself. Well, I say big, kind of metaphorically. That's right, we are talking to the Little Red Doctor himself, Luke Newman. Now, keep in mind, when we filmed this, it was just after we'd shot the regeneration scene, so emotions are pretty high. So, the project itself, how did you first come across doing it? How did you first come up with the idea of it?
Basically, I had a TARDIS console in my room because I was that kind of nerd. Yes, TARDIS console in the room. I just got bored of running around on my own doing it. So. But now that's probably where it comes from. Like I used to we've all kind of done it where we've been in a spaceboat and a costume, pretending to be, the character. And then it was just after a while I was like, I could literally make this. Because I used to do figure adventures, and I thought, could try doing live action. And it just progresses from there. And thus the series was born.
What would you say your favourite moment's been? I know it's a tricky one, but...
Yeah. I think one of the best parts of all of it has been the last episode, because there's part when there was 14 of us there on that day and it was really, really hot. And I kind of looked around and I was like, I don't even care that it's hot, I'm enjoying it. And there's also that time, do you remember when we was on the bus?
Yeah.
And a bus meeting, and I stopped and I looked around and I felt a little something here, like all these people have come out of their way to help me do this project. But now you get lots of little parts, moments that are memorable, but it's like stepping at the TARDIS for the last time and not realising it's the last time. It's like you've done it for the last 5 years. And then to do something that you've done so often for the last ever time, it's very, very strange. So I think everyone's going to have their own kind of memorable moments, but I've probably got too many to count for, to be honest.
So when you first started doing the show, did you ever feel it would get this far?
No. There was a point in series 1 where I did actually cancel the series. It was cancelled, it was done, and then it wasn't until the following year I was like, no, I got the urge to write. I'm getting so many ideas. I need to do something. But no, I never kind of pictured that it would get to this point. like where we are now, like 5 years later from where I first started, to be here and be like, oh, I'm done. I'm proud of like how far we've come and what we've achieved from that. So,
what lessons do you think you've learned while working on the show? Like life lessons, what have you?
I've gained a lot more confidence than what I had. I've kind of been more open-minded and like new ideas, having people come in, give their ideas. I mean, before I've been very like closed-minded and I wouldn't have anyone's help. And I used to do a lot for just myself, and then over the years, like, people have been like, oh, we could help you do this, we could help you do that, and I've had people come in and they've done their bits. So, I don't know, I mean, I think I've changed a lot as a person the past few years. And I think it's for the better, really. Like, the life lessons that you don't learn unless you actually live it.
So, is there anything you think you'll miss about being the Doctor on this show?
Probably everything. That is the straight up answer for it. It does everything. I'm going to miss putting on the costume. I'm going to miss coming into the TARDIS as the Doctor and leaving the TARDIS. Just silly little things like pulling the lever I will miss. Like, I've been taking notes of everything I've been doing. Like, oh, this is the last time I'll ever pull this switch. This is the last time I'll ever step at the TARDIS. This is the last time me and Meg will ever hug. So things like that, like, it will make me miss it. Because at the end of the day, like, the past 5 years of my life, day in, day out, it's been the same. I've woken up, and I was a doctor, and I go to work, and my colleagues at work call me the Doctor, and I come back, and then I do some work, like filming, and I'm the Doctor. So, like, to me, it's never really left me. I've never been in a position where I haven't been the Doctor. So, I'm probably going to miss a lot of it, to be fair. If not all of it. Definitely all of it. Yeah.
Next up, where would the Doctor be without a faithful companion? Meg joined the show back in Series 3 and has become a firm favourite with some of the fans. Let's see what she had to say about working on the show. So Meg,
Hello.
how did you come to be on this project on Doctor Who 2012?
Well, I met Luke and then he went, do you want to be in the series? And I was like, okay. Well, to be fair, it was our first date, not gonna lie. We met up and then he was saying to me how he never wants any girlfriends to be in the series because of how many issues it causes. And then he said he saw me cross my arms like this and he went, you look like a companion, do you want to be in the series? And I was like, okay. And then the next time I saw him I was in the series. Yeah.
What has your favourite moment been on the show?
Favourite moment? I don't know, I guess maybe. Well, we have kind of travelled to kind of cool places to film, and we did it episode 1 we did quite a bit in Cardiff, and then we got to film in the Doctor Experience. They let us go behind the barriers and up to the console, and we filmed in Davros's Medi Bay. That was quite cool. So they knew what we were going to do about the series, and they just thought, do you want to let the barriers away for us? And that was quite cool. Yeah.
How would you describe the character of Meg?
She is very she's very kind of assertive, I suppose. She tries to be more confident than she is, I think. If she's scared, she doesn't want to admit she's scared, and she thinks she can do all this amazing stuff because she's got these powers and whatnot, and I think she thinks she's really cool, and she knows she's really not. Yeah.
Do you think being in a relationship with Luke has added something to your character, or has it changed anything? Has it gotten in the way at all? Or?
I think it helps doing the scenes, because if we have close-up scenes, and when we first kind of started filming, back in Series 3, the first few shoots, we had the scene. It was my first TARDIS scene. We did a mini-sode, and then me and Luke were like this, and we spent about 15 minutes filming it because we just kept laughing. But I suppose it's kind of now we're more of a sort of established couple. We've been together 2 years. It's sort of easy just to sort of do a scene while they're there. I suppose it can get in the way sometimes. If we're doing a lot of filming, it can get in the way sometimes. But yeah, it does help with the scenes.
You wrote an episode in the last series.
I did.
Were you pleased with the results? Would you ever think about writing another one?
I'd like to write another one. Yeah. I mean, I was quite happy with it. Like, after series 3, I said to Luke, like, I really want to give Meg more of a backstory. Like, I want to, like, explore her character more, because in series 3, she was just kind of, like, there wasn't much about her. I said, can I write this, like, episode to do with kind of, like, her origins and, like, her mum and all this, like, idea that I had. He was like, yeah, and then he let me. And then, because I wanted more of Meg, really, and it turned out series 4 was pretty much a lot to do with my character in the end. But, yeah, I'd like to write another one.
Finally, what do you think it's going to be like working with Dom as the Doctor?
Weird. I suppose because I've worked with Luke for so long, it's going to be quite strange just to suddenly kind of like be like, oh hey Dom, you're meant to be Luke. But I suppose it's meant to be strange in the first episode and just react how like Meg would react, I guess, because it'd be weird someone just kind of changing, so I suppose it will be weird. But it'll be a good thing, I think, and then like we'll just get used to it. So, yeah.
Nice one. That'll do.
Okay.
We'll catch up with Luke and Meg later on in the video, but for now, here's what Lizzie Kirk, otherwise known as the Doctor's daughter Scarlett, had to say about working on the film and the series as a whole. Right, so, first question is, how did you come to be on the project, the DW2012 project?
It was a few years, well, ages ago it seems I know, at a con, and I'd not long met Luke, and we got talking about the series, and then he asked me over that convention weekend. It was like London MCM, like 2-3 years ago, must be 3. So yeah, he asked me about being in it and playing his daughter, because he'd had trouble trying to get someone to be that character.
When it comes to the character of the daughter, how would you describe the role?
I saw it, Luke's writing's very good in the way that you can take from what you will, but I saw it as kind of like a Jenny sort of daughter character, so a bit of a rebel, a bit she'll do what she wants, that kind of thing. She knows what she wants.
That's cool. What was it like working alongside Luke and then later on Meg?
Oh, it was really good. When I first shot it was just Luke and Kai, so that was interesting shooting with them, like the first time I ever shot with them, because I've never done anything like that before. We ended up at a graveyard, so that's quite interesting, and it's been nice to get to work with everybody else that's been involved, especially doing the film this year and getting to interact with the other characters as well, because there's some characters that even though I had scenes with, I never actually worked with. Like, I've never met Chloe properly, who plays Jeff.
What would you say has been your favourite moment working on the show?
I'd say over this summer it's been so much fun getting to do the film, the locations, and working with everybody. We've been like a proper little team. I've enjoyed that. It's a good camaraderie, and everybody just pulls together, and it's got a good team. And we enjoy not just being part of it, but we enjoy it for the show as well.
That's cool, yeah. Because you die at the end, don't you? You're allowed to say.
No.
Okay, you don't.
I'm one. That's why.
Okay, so you're one of the few out of the whole crew in the movie that survives. Would you ever consider coming back alongside Dom?
I think it'd be interesting if Scarlett was to come back alongside Dom, because it'd be a completely different relationship than what I had with Luke. But at the same time, I don't think it would be good to come back. I think it's good that I've ended with Luke.
Now, we wouldn't have gotten very far if we hadn't had somebody behind the camera. Next, we'll be talking to Mr. Dan Patton, visual extraordinaire, and most of all, cameraman for the film. How did you become involved in the project?
I've been here since the very start, actually. I saw Luke was doing a series. Me and him were messaged friends on Facebook at the time, and I just casually messaged him saying, if you need visual effects for the series, I'm the guy to come to. And 4 years later, 4 seasons in a film, and here we are.
Okay. What's your favourite moment been working on the show?
There's been a lot. Because the thing is, most of the stuff I've done is at home on my computer. I don't come out as frequently do practically for the show. I'd say my favourite is actually when I was I was a Time Lord counselor in episode 1 of series 4, because I actually grew a beard out for that, and I got this Hurley wig from Lost, and it felt like it's just like it felt good. It felt good being an aggressive character.
Cool. What was it like working alongside Luke?
It's been painstaking every single day. A kid, of course. Luke's a fantastic guy to work with. He's always been a delightful guy to come with. If there's ever an issue, you can always go to Luke, and that's what I admire about him. He's been doing this for so long now, and it's been a rigorous task, and I like to think I helped Luke out through most of it, and Luke's helped me out through most of it as well. Working with Luke is always a delight, it's always a pleasure.
Cool. How has working with Doctor Who 2012 or DW2012 helped in your budding career?
I've progressed so much as a visual effects artist, as a director, as an actor, because of joining DW2012 from the very start. I was very rigorous in terms of the quality of my visual effects at the start, and I feel like I'm at the stage where I can go in the industry and make industry standard stuff, and I feel confident with that now because of the work I've done for the show.
And do you prefer to be in front or behind the camera? What's your preference?
My preference would be mostly behind the camera, because I mostly deem more about what's going behind the camera than what is going in front of it. Yeah.
Cool. And what would you say your favourite memory of shooting the film's been?
Favourite memory?
Yeah. And what is it you've loved the most about it?
Well, there's always been one thing going wrong every time I shoot. We filmed at MCM in November 2015. That was so cold. We filmed for Essence of Legacy in the summer of 2016. There's a guy with a lawnmower keep going by every time I want to say a line. And we went to go film Follow the Doctor, and it was roasting hot. Nearly everyone got sunburned or sunstroke. Poor Dom. And it's hard to say which one's my favourite. I think my favourite would be, in terms of like comedically, would be Essence of Legacy. Just like how the guy would always have the lawnmower on, as it were, just about to say a line. It was stressful, but it was comedic at the same time.
I saw a clip from Parting with the Waves on the TV. Didn't have a clue what was going on.
Rose. Yeah. I had no clue what Doctor Who was, but my dad was like, "Oh, Doctor Who's coming back," and I was like, "Okay." And then I just sort of watched it, and it scared me. It really scared me.
Rose, when the New Who came back, that first episode, and that's when I fell in love with it.
First ever episode, Doomsday season 2 finale, and I saw that in a wee cottage in the south of Ireland.
I believe it was a rerun, and it was a rerun of The Time Warrior, which was a John Pertwee story, and it was on UK Gold back in 2003.
The TV movie. Paul McGann's TV movie. Was it 96? Yeah, 96, because that was the year I was born.
It was late Tom Baker ones, but the ones that stuck in my mind the most was the series with the Keeper Traken, because that was my first regeneration story, and Castrovalva was obviously the one that really, really stuck with me, and I still love that episode, even though some people are not keen. I still love that episode to this day.
I mean, if you want to go technical, the first episode I ever watched was the final part of Trial of a Time Lord, because that happened to be on, I think, UK Gold, and I caught the end of it as well. So, all the carriages. So that sort of stuck in my mind, and some gardening's going on over there.
Even though it was mostly business as usual for the film, we did have a few cast changes. Here's Jack Baron Highfield with his take on General Maxwell. How did you get involved in DW2012?
Well, somebody contacted me before the film started shooting, and I wasn't sure what it was, but I was told before the day that it was Luke's fan film, and that they wanted me to fill in for a role that was left out from another actor, and so I went to the day, and yeah, that's really how it went.
Cool. What can you tell us about your character?
Well, my character is kind of different to the other actor's perspective. He's got a different kind of characteristic to him, and he's got a bit more of like a naivety to him as well. He doesn't know quite what's going on, but he tries to take charge of stuff. And yeah, I mean, he's. I definitely think that the character for me as well has been quite good on the film. So yeah.
Cool. What was it like working with the team on the film?
Pretty surreal, because I wasn't totally sure of the series before I started, but before I actually started shooting, I did actually watch a couple of the older ones that he did, and I kind of got a bit of background on how to do it, and yeah, that's really it.
What would you say your favourite moment's been on filming the series?
My favourite moment, probably on the series itself, or do you mean on behind the scenes, or just in general?
Just in general.
I
would say behind the scenes. I mean, what would you say is your favourite moment been working?
I think definitely the TARDIS set, because I remember seeing it on photos on the website for DW2012, and actually going onto the set itself was just really surreal, and it was so nice. So yeah.
Cool. Now, your character doesn't make it in the film. As it's been proven in the universe that people can have similar faces throughout the universe.
Yeah.
If Luke were to ask you to come back as a different character, would you take up the mantle on that one?
Absolutely, hands down. Yeah, 10 out of 10. Yeah.
And what do you think? What kind of character would you like to have?
I think the character I would like to have would be someone like Indiana Jones, someone who again is naive, and someone who's like an adventurer and sort of thing. Because I kind of have a bit of a wild imagination. So I think, yeah, definitely a character like that, I think would be quite cool.
Cool. Now, even though Jack took over as General Maxwell, I still managed to catch up with Kai Nelson, the original Maxwell, and every other ginger in the DW2012 universe at a cosplay meetup earlier this year. Here's what he had to say about his time on the show. How did you first get involved with DW2012?
Well, we sort of went to this meetup, this cosplay meetup, which is what we're doing now actually. But I saw Luke at the meetup and I thought, I recognise that face. And then I put two and two together and thought, oh god, it's the guy who does the fan films, because I saw it all across YouTube. It was quite popular at the time. And I just dropped him a message and we started chatting. And we came to the realisation we actually lived around the corner from each other. It was literally 2 minutes walking distance. That's all it was. Same estate, everything. Anyway, so he invited me around. He said, "Do you want to see the TARDIS?" And I went, "Yeah, sure. That's it's a pretty cool thing." So I headed round and we chatted, and he asked me if I wanted to be a part of the series because obviously a massive Doctor Who fan. And I was like, "Yeah, okay." It was like, what's the character? And he was like, "Oh, you play the girlfriend to my companion, Jessica. You play the boyfriend." And I was like, "Oh yeah, that sounds cool." So from there I got involved, and from that point, for some reason he had an addiction to like using me, and then he cast me as like other characters in the show as well.
Yeah, you've had a few characters. Yeah. What's been your favourite out of all of them? Even if like the smallest.
I had this brief appearance as a postman. Now I knock on the TARDIS door and it's like, oh, this has been in the office for 100 years. As wacky as that sounds. And I hand in this letter and it's just that charming brief appearance, and he's like, oh, it's the guy that played two other characters. But I think one of the funniest roles I played was Maxwell, the Time Lord General. And it was, he made all this costume, it was brilliant and that, but I had this really stupid helmet to put on. And we used to call it the special helmet, and it was like, it was this funny thing. But it was just an interesting thing to play three different characters. And I think my favourite was the Time Lord General because it had the most screen time. But for the brief appearances, it was definitely the Postman. It was just funny.
Talking about the General, Jack plays him in the film.
Yeah.
Do you think it's a fitting choice?
I do. I feel like if I could imagine in my head who it would have been next, and having seen Jack play the role, I thought it was, it was an easy transition. I think it wasn't too different, and I thought it had some sort of similarity to the way I played the character. But I like the idea that it is Jack, because you know he's a nice lad, and I think he's done really well, to be honest. This gentleman. It's a fitting choice. Yeah.
Good. What was I going to ask there? What has been your favourite moment while filming? Has there been like a behind-the-scenes little kind of thing that you've really enjoyed?
No, I'm going to give you two sides of it here. I'm going to give you the one I most enjoyed and the one I least enjoyed.
Okay.
But also enjoyed it because it was funny.
Okay.
So there was a moment during season 4 when I played a silence. Now I had the mask on, and it was all, you know, it was this whole costume we put together, and it was the middle of the winter. And I say it was least favourite because I was shivering through the entire shoot, but it was also funny because I was there, like, you know, blasting out my hands like lightning was coming out of it, and it just looked ridiculous. But obviously when he put the effect on, it looked amazing. But for the moment I least enjoyed it was that, but it was funny because of what happened. The funniest moment for me, we were filming this scene in a spaceship, and you know, I'm the Time Lord General, I'm steering it along looking for the Doctor, and there's this moment where Luke is shaking the camera to make it look like the spaceship is crashing, and we had about 6 or 7 takes at this one shot. Luke is absolutely peeing himself laughing, Meg's just crying in the corner, the light fell over, it was just this whole scene. It was a really, really funny moment, and it just sticks so prominently in my head, you know, it's like one of the strongest memories, I think, and it was really funny, yeah, really funny.
Have you had any encounters with fans at all of the show? And
Actually, recently, a few months ago, I was off down to London. It was early morning, and I'm waiting for my train, and the train that pulls in before the next one, this guy gets off and he's looking, and in my peripheral vision I'm like, does he recognise me? Because I do a lot on Instagram, a lot on YouTube, and he comes up, he's like, hi, are you Kai? I was like, yeah. He said, I've seen you in the Doctor Who fan film. Now to me that's like, oh my god, someone's recognised me off just this YouTube channel, this series, and it was a weird moment because I felt like a celebrity. It was weird, but it was a nice experience, and we had a little chat, and to him it meant the world, you know. He came up and he was like, oh, I loved doing that, and I've seen the YouTube channel, and it was like, oh, thanks man. And I've had a few incidences like, you know, conventions and different places like that where people have walked up and have gone, oh, you're the Time Lord General, oh, you're Matt, you played this character, and it's so nice to see people actually recognise me for that, and it's just such a nice moment, really. It is, it's wonderful.
And one of the more emotional moments from the film came towards the end, where Luke's Doctor brought back Meg's mother, Ness, played by my partner, Sarah. Here's what she had to say about working on the film. How did you get involved with DW2012 in the first place?
Well, I know Luke and Meg, and they asked if I wanted to be in it, and so obviously I jumped to the chance because I'd watched it before. I thought, you know, I'd love to have a part in that, so I was originally offered another part, but unfortunately circumstances meant that I couldn't do that one. So then they said, oh, you know, the part of Meg's mum's come up, we'd really love you to do it, and so I accepted, and it went from there.
What's your favourite moment been working on the series?
I think it's the behind the scenes stuff that goes on. We usually have a bit of banter, a bit of, you know, we have something to eat, we have a laugh, and it's also finding out how filming works, and how it's not just, oh, you don't just do it, it looks like it's on for like 3 or 4 minutes, but it actually takes quite a lot longer. But it's all good fun, and they're great people to work with.
What was it like working alongside Luke and Meg?
Oh, they're great. They're so professional, but they're also such great people. I mean, the first episode I was in, when I had some longer lines, I found it a bit difficult to remember some of the stuff, and they were really patient when I sort of made a mistake. And, you know, to the point of holding a script up in front of my face at one point because I just could not remember the line no matter how many times I tried. But they're great people.
How would you describe your role as the character of Ness?
Well, it's quite an interesting character, really, because you don't get to see a massive amount of her. You get to hear a lot about her, and then you just see her as a normal person wandering around with her child and doing normal everyday things, and then you're just sort of thrown into, you know, a character that doesn't have any idea what's going on. There's this person she doesn't know, and then she finds out it's her daughter, and you know, it must be a very weird situation to be in, to find out you suddenly got a baby one minute, then you've got a grown-up daughter.
As one of the older members of cast,
Thanks.
how has it been culture shock wise? Because you've been watching Doctor Who since the late 70s, so for you it must be quite interesting to see how this has all kind of evolved over the years. I mean, what's your own point of view of that?
Well, it's very different, obviously, to the shows that I used to watch, but I like the fact it's not all tried to be wrapped up in a nutshell in like 45 minutes like some of the episodes. It's like an ongoing story, and I know some of them are interlinked, but I do like that. I like Luke's take on the Doctor. I'm very much looking forward to seeing what Dom can do with it, but it's very well written and very engaging. And I do like the fact that there's a mix of people in there. It's not you know, it's just standard people. There's all sorts of people, different characters, different monsters, very cleverly made. And yeah, it's great.
Now, what will be an interview video with DW2012 without talking to the next Doctor? Here's Dominic Greenwood-Martin on what he hopes will be a memorable 5th series. So, how did you first get involved in this project?
Well, it's been quite a long time, actually. I met Luke at MC in Birmingham a few years ago, yeah. And he, not so long after I met him, we got on really well and became good friends. And it wasn't too long after that he just decided to ask me, "Yo, do you want to be the next Doctor?" And I was like, "Yes!" So that's what got me here today.
All of us Doctor Who fans, we've envisaged what it would be like for us being the Doctor. Are there any character traits you're looking forward to bringing to the show?
Well, it's tricky to say. I'm still like, I've got the character down, I'd say, from the Series 5 version at least. I want to bring a bit more like, I guess I'm kind of optimistic. At the same time, be a bit more like dynamic, maybe a little bit radical, perhaps. I'd say I'm also a bit more subdued as well. I try to show emotion a bit less, hide the truth, but you'll see my portrayal anyway. I don't want to give too much away.
So you've done a lot in the Doctor Who community. You've done the fan show, you've got your own YouTube channel that's quite successful. You even got to introduce Doctor Who on Christmas. Is there anything else you'd like to do in the community or in Doctor Who in general, and do you think this might help in any way?
I take nothing for granted. So whatever happens from here on out, I take as like a positive, because there's really nothing. I ask for nothing and I expect nothing in return, but at the end of the day, I just like doing this because it's fun, and I don't really do it for any sort of personal gain or anything. I just like doing it because I want to tell stories of the Doctor. And when it comes to my channel and everything, I just want to help people out and whatnot. If anything comes from it, then I'll be eternally grateful. But I have no foreseeable goals.
That's cool.
Got a bit mad in there.
I know. So you'll be acting alongside Megan. How do you feel that's going to go with the difference in characters?
Different characters. I mean, obviously from Doctor Who history, Doctor changeovers with companions present always has a rocky period at the beginning. But once we get past that rocky patch, I'm sure the characters will get on fine. I mean, it's going to be interesting to tell that story of how Megan gets used to the new Doctor, because Megan's been a bit of a mainstay for the DW2012 series. I mean, she's been in since Series 3, I believe. And so it'll be interesting to see how the fans take it as well. But she's going to be a good guiding point, a rock for the audience, especially when they get to grips with how I act and whatnot. So, yeah, I think it'll be cool. I'm looking forward to working with her. She's a wonderful actress, wonderful girl. Yeah.
Cool. And lastly, is there anything from your Doctor and your series that we can look forward to? Is there anything that you really, really want to put into the show that you know we're going to like?
Well, if you like The Colour Purple, not the movie. I mean, if you like The Colour Purple, then I'll have plenty of The Colour Purple. Not the movie again. That's depressing. And also, if you like a bit more like character stories, I have a fondness for character stories, and me and Luke probably going to work a bit more on that side of things. So, if you like Black Mirror, you'll like some of the things that I have lined up. So, yeah.
That'll do. Lastly, let's return back to Luke and Meg, where I caught them on the set of Meg's house. This was our first ever interview, and I was just going to put it up straight the moment the film came out, but the idea of making a documentary kind of expanded from there. I hope you enjoy this extended interview with the two, and we'll see you next year for Series 5. And I've just knocked over the sodding thing. There we are. Just got to make sure that it's all in focus. You do know I'm supposed to be in between the two of you, right? Okay, cool. Right. Being a dick already. So, Luke, as of filming this, the film is now out.
Yes.
How do you think it's going to have gone down?
Hopefully well.
Yeah.
Hope so.
Because I mean, how long has it been in the making?
Technically 5 years.
5. Not, I mean the film itself, not the series, but I mean it's like when it came from concept to script to
5
film.
years.
Serious?
I had the idea before I did the opening episode. The Omega was always going to come back, and he was always going to kill the Doctor, and the Doctor was always going to jump off of a clock tower.
But that was the only thing. You had no other characters in.
No, not really.
So
It's
that's
just going to be the Doctor and the Master originally.
Right.
At the start. I didn't even know that Meg was going to be the companion.
No,
You
she
haven't
can't.
Maybe it
Just
might have
kind
been
of.
Jess or.
Because you hadn't met Meg by that point, had you? No. Yeah. So as well, Meg, you've told me about how you met Luke.
Yeah.
And how that all came together.
Yeah.
Had you seen any of Luke's work before?
No.
No.
I was one of these people who I saw fan films on YouTube and I just kind of scroll past it and go, oh. Like, I didn't really think much of it.
Probably would have mine.
I probably, no, to be fair, I probably scrolled past yours in the
Yeah.
past. And never really, like, when it first told me to do a fan series, I was like, alright, okay, cool. I wasn't really that impressed by it, to be honest. I was one of the, when I first walked into your TARDIS, you said I was the most unimpressed person ever. I was like, okay.
I walked in and was like, okay.
But yeah, I
Was
did.
it?
I got involved, and then it's good.
Sarah, can you just check to see if Luke's in frame? Sorry, it's just I don't want to get up to make sure that he's in frame or not. Is he in frame?
Yeah, he's kind of mostly in.
Squidging. Sorry, there we go.
Yeah, that's better.
Right, okay. So, when it comes to the film itself, what's been your favourite part of shooting? Because you've gone through a lot.
Yeah.
The Doctor's done an awful lot in the space of, I mean, how long were you? Not 90 minutes or something?
Yeah, it's about. I think it's a lot longer than that, isn't it? It's like 120 minutes. It's going to be.
The script is, how long is the script?
Script's 126 pages.
6 pages.
Okay.
That's
So
page a
roughly
minute.
Page a
you're
minute,
only
yeah.
about 220
But are there any highlights that you can recall?
as me or as
No, just
character?
as a filmmaker, were there any parts that you enjoyed filming the most?
I don't know. I think despite the fact that we hate it now, the location that we did, the quarry, being there with that many people and seeing everyone else there, and
It did feel like a proper team.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
this is nice because like I can see like that people are trying to help and all.
And the
that.
film has such a big cast as well. It
Mm.
kind of feels like a lot of people were involved rather than
Yeah.
just us two.
Yeah, but then again, like, I quite like the Gallifrey shoot we did because it was kind of like, oh well, that's it for the Master. Oh, that's it for like
Yeah, a lot of
you
people
know
ended up
Jack.
on
Oh, that's it for Lizzie.
What was that? The church.
Mm.
Yeah.
And then Lizzie was really like determined that she could still come back, even though she wasn't going to film anything. Like, come back next week. I was like, no, Liz, you're done. I could come back anyway. I could just stand there and help.
So you've had a lot of people die in the film as well, haven't you?
Yeah.
A lot of people have died. And so, which out of all of them are you the most sad to see go? You don't have to say me.
It's like a smile at the corner of my eye.
No. It's not that at all. No, I mean, there are some characters that you've had going in the series for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, you've even had the 2 other companions be killed off as well, like, technically. So it's like, which is the most, I mean, there are some actors that you must be quite sad to see go.
Yeah. Even though if it's not a death scene, I'm sad to see like Lizzie go, because it's like, oh, Lizzie's been with us like for like quite a long time. I'm sad to see Lizzie go, but I'm sad to see you die. You are though. Like,
I'm sad to see me die as well. It must be very embarrassing to watch.
What about yourself? Because you know you're leaving as well.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, that's a biggish deal.
How do you feel about leaving? I mean, is it a bit less stressful now?
Yeah, it's less stressful, but you know, it's sad.
Yeah.
I'm sad. Because like, that's it, you know, like it's been like my life for like 5 years, and like, every day I wake up and something series related. I go to sleep, and I'm thinking the last thing I do is something series related. Even if it's just a thought. And every day I'm like, oh, I could do this when I'm at work. I'm like, oh, ideas, oh. And you sit on my break and I have my little book and I just write things down as I go. So I always have that revelation when I sit on my break at work and I sit there and I listen to music and I'm like, I've been sat here for the past 4 years thinking about these ideas, and it's like when I look at the book I go right to the start, I can see the original ideas for series 1, the episode ideas, and then I can skip away through and go back to the Fall of the Doctor. I can see it as a whole. It is weird that seeing that.
But it'll be less stressful for you as well, Meg.
Yeah. Not filming and not having to. I think you will enjoy it because you want to focus more on like the camera work and the production side of it. So you can make it look how you want to look. You can't just settle for things if they're not as you want. Because now I have to film bits sometimes, and then I know you film bits for the film.
That's what I was saying before.
So I think we can all kind of focus on one role. Like you can focus on filming, and we can focus on being in it.
Yeah,
and then,
that's what I mean. Like, you'll enjoy it more because you return to being just an actor.
Yeah.
And you can focus on just the character.
Yeah.
Rather than, oh, I've got to really do this and I've got to also do that.
Yeah, Meg, can you get the shot? I'm like, Blue, I'm tired. Just get it, I'm like, fine.
I mean, for the pair of you, what would you say was the most difficult thing to shoot?
Bitch.
Really?
that will always.
Oh, is it because you had to redo the audio and?
And because like the film set got flooded because it rained.
Oh yes, I remember you saying, yeah.
And I was like, oh my god, I'm flipping it. And that was the point where it was like, yeah, we need a studio.
Yeah.
So.
To be fair, it was probably a good thing that we got the studio and that happened in the end, because we kind of, we spent like 4 weeks.
Oh, was that
freezing in that place?
The
unit.
The unit, yeah. Because I shot in there. I made the stupid mistake of taking my shoes off because I thought I'm in jail. But then it was never shown, and I could have lost a toe. I swear down, I could have lost.
That's
a
why you know the bit when I was like locked up by the master. I had my shoes on. I was like, I'm not taking off because how cold it was.
Yeah.
It was freezing, but I didn't. One thing I was going to ask is, you've got enough subscribers now that the YouTube hub in London have taken interest. Given the opportunity, would you take them up on their offer for studio times and maybe even bring in 1 or 2 YouTube celebrities? And if so, which YouTube celebrities would you want to possibly have? If you could choose, if you were given free rein, out of all the UK YouTubers out there, who would you want to have come in? This is to pair of you as well.
Because I don't watch that many YouTubers, like, their own contents, like, that much. But no, I watch a few, like, I've seen Bob Saxon, but he's Ireland.
Right.
But I like his videos, and he's quite cool. He's got 10,000 as well. So.
What about you, Meg? If you could choose any British YouTuber to have a cameo or a scene?
I'm trying to think of like biggish kind of YouTubers.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to
like
think.
People like Tom Scott and I don't know, because I suppose if you're involved in that whole YouTube space, then it kind of opens up the world to like,
Yeah.
you know, a lot of things. You can kind of like be in London, you can use their studio space and like do a lot of, I don't know, a lot more stuff, and then you could like, it would be like a whole new sort of world and meeting new people as well like that.
Yeah.
I think Ashens would do quite well.
Okay.
Just even if he turned around the corner and looked at Dom and went, "Hello," and Dom replied, "Hello." I think that would be quite nifty.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, would you ever consider using YouTube
I would,
Spaces?
yeah, because like, you know, like there's not many people in the world that actually get access to it, and so to be given the access, and I've had the email say that, you know, I'm allowed to use it and all that, and I was like, ooh. But yeah, it's like,
because you've got other projects, haven't you, that you want to work on?
yeah,
That are not just Doctor Who
Yeah.
related.
yeah.
Any that you're allowed to talk about?
Well, there's Vader, but I think everyone always knows about that one.
Okay.
If this is released after the film, will Vader have been released?
I don't know.
To be honest, I don't think so. Because we're focusing on the film, that's a lot of editing, and Vader's taking a lot of time to edit as well,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, I always have to be in a Star Wars mood to edit Vader. Because I have to feel like, is it worth rotoscoping every frame?
I think last thing we need to talk about, of course, is the new Doctor, Dom,
Mr. Dominic.
Mr. Dominic Greenwood Martin. What drove you to the idea of having him replace you?
Random, literally, it wasn't really like a big consideration. Like, as soon as I saw him, I was like, I think I've just met my future self. It was literally end of Comic Con. It was in international airport and train station and that. And yeah, Dom was there, and when I heard his voice, and I looked at him, and I was like,
That's his voice.
oh my god! I was like, he's the Doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was back in like start of 2014. So and he's kept it quiet all the time. And literally that night when I got home, and I messaged him, I was like, "Oh, it's nice to meet you at MCM." I was like, "Also wanted to ask, would you also consider playing the Doctor?"
Was he aware of the series by then?
I think so. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think he was. He knew like roughly about it. Because back then we had like what 1,000, 2,000 subscribers. So it wasn't as. Yeah, to get anyone thinks of me now thinks of the series, don't they? Really, not really. Like, I haven't really done anything else in my life, so.
Aww. I think on that note, I think we should leave that with a Luke
But
hug.
it can be a good thing because it shows how successful you've been.
It does.
Yeah.
Yes. But yes, I think we'll leave it there with you, Bill Pessimistic, you silly bugger. I hope you guys have enjoyed the Doctor Who 2012 movie, or the DW2012 movie, as it should be called, because it's Dynamic Works now, isn't it?
Yes. Has
Don't-
been for over a year now.
Yes, sorry, keep mispronouncing your team name. Oh well. Yes, if you haven't checked out the film so far, then you've already just been privy to a load of spoilers, and it's your own bloody fault, because I put spoilers in the beginning. I've been telling you it's spoilers all the way through. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Ding that little Facebook bell. I have honestly no idea what it does, but apparently it's a thing. And I'll see you guys sometime later on in the year. Say bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye everybody.
Hopefully, let's go into a film.